This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And boy, do I feel bad. Because that was a rough one, folks. That was a rough one. Oh, man, 132-109. The Knicks lose to the Boston Celtics. And Donaj M said, what went wrong? I don't know. A whole lot went wrong. The Boston Celtics went wrong. They were raining threes, ladies and gentlemen. They were raining threes. That was a tough loss right there. 132-109. The Boston Celtics defeat the New York Knicks, take the New York Knicks out. The first game of the season. Oh, man. But listen, I thought the Knicks would have had it. I thought earlier, I predicted the Knicks would win. They would have enough energy to win this basketball game. I didn't want to get too high if they won. Definitely don't want to get too low because they lost. Even though they got blown out, you don't want to get too low. Celtics, like I said earlier, they're a well-oiled machine, and the Knicks are not at this point in time. They got to figure each other out. They got to learn some things about this basketball team and how you play together. I mean, you know, you're playing against the stiffest competition in the NBA. So you got to figure it out. You know what I mean? Got to figure it out. I got my man Tony Crow about to come into the building as we break this one down, ladies and gentlemen. The Boston Celtics just rained threes all night long, 29 threes on the night. There was nothing the Knicks could do about it at all. And the Knicks, offensively, the Knicks numbers weren't bad. It just wasn't as good as the Celtics. I mean, the Knicks shot 55% from the field. They shot 36.7% from the three-point line. But the Celtics shot so much better from the three-point line. 33 assists for the Boston Celtics. I mean, we'll get into all of that, but, you know, rough one. Let me get my man Tony Crow in the building and whatnot. Rough one, Tony. It's a rough one, man. It's a real rough one. I didn't expect this. You know what I mean? I didn't expect this tonight. Did you?
Nah, nope. I thought we was gonna pull this one away. I didn't get to see the game really. I saw the first quarter. Took a super late lunch just to make sure I saw some of the game. You said they had 29 threes. I think they had 10 in the first quarter. So you know, they slowed them down the next 3 quarters, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was that kind of night for the Celtics, no doubt about it. It was just that kind of night. They were knocking threes down all over the place. I mean,
they broke some records too, right?
Nah, if they would have hit 33s, they would have broke a record. They would have, you know, whatever that record was.
I think they tied their franchise record for threes in the
something
quarter.
like that. So I mean, listen, the Knicks got a lot of learning to do, right? But they got the pieces, they got the talent. You know, they got some things that they got to figure out on, you know, just how they got some things they got to figure out. What can you say? You know, they should have some things that they're supposed to figure out, I guess. So they got to figure it out. You know, now you got game 2 on, what is it, Friday against Indiana? Right? And you know, you got to get a win Friday night, though. Or the panic will set in quickly for Knicks fans.
They should be mad about this loss and mad about they lost in the playoffs. So, you know what I mean? They should be twice as mad on Friday.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know, Jalen Brunson, he shot the ball well. He scored 22 points on the night. Deuce, he scored 22 points tonight off the bench. 8 for 10 from the field, 4 for 5 from the 3-point line. Bridges had 16. His shot started to go a little bit. He hit a couple of threes. So hopefully that's a good sign for the Knicks. Karl-Anthony Towns, 12 points, 7 rebounds tonight. He only took 9 shots. I think you need more than that from Karl-Anthony Towns. That's what they brought him here for, right? You definitely need more than that. OG Anunoby, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, only took 7 shots on the night. That's going to be something that's common for OG, right? That's going to be something really common for OG, where he's not, sometimes he might get 15 shots, sometimes he might get 7, sometimes it might be 10, It's not going to be a consistent high number of double-digit shots for OG, especially when he has a defensive assignment like he had tonight, So, you're going to expect numbers all across the board from OG, So Karl-Anthony Towns got to be a scorer. Jalen Brunson's going to be a scorer. Mikal Bridges got to be a scorer. And Deuce, maybe Deuce, he's not always going to be 8 for 10 from the field. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't have to be, but if he can be 5 for 10 every night and be dropping 15, that's what you want from him coming off the bench. So it's hard to judge anything right now with the team because you need time for it to click, for it to gel, for you to figure out how you play together. It needs time. That's the only thing. It's the only thing I can really say about tonight's game is that they need time. The Knicks didn't rebound the ball great. 34 rebounds on the night. I don't know. Just not a good game for the Knicks tonight in the season opener. 34 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds for the Knicks. But they shot the ball well, but still 5 offensive rebounds. Can't hear you.
Pardon me. I said, was it just the Knicks or was it just the Celtics on fire? Like, what was your takeaway as far as that? Because even last year, the Celtics kind of lived and died by the 3.
Mm-hmm.
They just lived by it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
So was it that really killed us, or?
I mean, the Celtics were hot. They were hot and on fire, especially in that third quarter. They were killing it. There's no doubt about that. They were hot. They shot. Let me see, how many threes did they shoot? They shot 61 threes. They were 29 for 61.
How many shot attempts total?
95.
See, that's crazy.
I mean, part of it too in the fourth quarter, they were launching up threes trying to get the record.
Okay.
So that padded the stats with the threes. But offensively, I mean, the thing is this for me, offensively, the Celtics know there is no thinking about the game offensively for the Celtics. There's no thinking about the game. Right now, the Knicks are still thinking and figuring it out. With the Celtics, they've been playing together for years. They know what they're doing. They know where they're going. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to figure it out. They just got to do it. The Knicks are still figuring things out, and that's going to be, it's going to be like that for a little while.
And to your point about the Celtics, it's the whole team. Like, their second unit is empowered. You know what I mean? Like, they all got the green light. So it's like, to your point, there's no thinking, there's no hesitation. You know what I mean? If they open, they letting it fly.
Right. Still there's some things that I get concerned. I'm still, and I know I forgot who it was. There was someone earlier in the pregame game preview, that was saying, the Celtics traded for KP last year and he didn't bring toughness and that kind of stuff. I'm still concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, Simmons still worried about Randall, this and that." I want to know who's gonna be the guy huffing and puffing when the Knicks ain't playing well. Who's gonna be the guy getting mad or barking at their teammates? Because everybody seems like they're friends. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna do that? We got to figure that out because somebody has to be that guy on this team. The players, more than the coaches holding each other accountable, the players got to hold each other accountable. Was there anything to hold the players accountable for tonight? I don't know. But I would have liked to see somebody huffing and puffing, mad, slapping a chair, doing some things. So we'll see if that person arises. Josh Hart is a guy, that would be like that because he's, boisterous, animated type of guy.
I'll tell you one thing that I noticed. I don't know how much they did it in the second, third, and fourth quarter because I didn't get to really watch. But in the first quarter, them putting Holiday on Towns. And I talked about that yesterday, thinking, all right, they try that. Towns should be able to abuse him. That wasn't the case. He got one basket on him down low, but the other one, you know what I mean? They had Horford roaming, and he got a shot block. But you got to see that coming. As small as Holiday is, as much of a height advantage you have, you got to see Horford roaming to come block that shot. But again, I didn't see second, third, fourth quarter. Did they do that often? Putting Holiday on Towns?
I didn't see. I didn't see it until the third quarter. So, not exactly sure. So I don't know, man. There's a lot to learn. The team has a lot to learn right now. Figure out how they, just figure out how they play together. How all the pieces work. Then of course, at some point you'll get some pieces back, but they'll be role players. You know what I mean? So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Like Achua, when he comes back, he's because what he does, hustle guy, energy, rebound, can fit in anywhere. You know what I mean? So they just got to figure out how everything works because it's essentially a new basketball team when you think about it. Brunson, Josh Hart, and OG for half the season last year. It's a new squad, kind of. So they got to figure it out. I wouldn't expect the next game they play the Celtics to be like this. I expect it to be a much different game. The Knicks will come with a different energy. And then you got to factor in, the whole ring ceremony and all of that. So there's already Celtic energy in the building. I wouldn't expect the next one to be like this. Uncle Fulio, what's going on with you, bro? How you feeling?
What's up, Sam? What's up, Tony? What's up to the MBK fam?
It's been a while.
Chat. I know. Knicks got their ass bust. I just put it like that, basically. They got their ass bust. And I'm more concerned about, I think there is a slight roster issue that I want to touch on that I think, that this team doesn't have on their roster, a particular role that they don't have on the roster. But outside of that, I'm not really too concerned outside of that part. I think defensively, the Knicks are going to get themselves together. They always do. They will always wind up doing that. Last season, it was the same thing. We gave up a ton of threes to Boston. They wound up beating us and at the Garden, beating us by hitting a ton of threes. Knicks go on a mini losing streak, and then they come back and have a nice winning streak. So I think that eventually is going to work itself out. I don't see a Tom Thibodeau coach team playing bad defensively for the entire season. So I'm not really concerned about that. The roster issue that I'm talking about is in regards to 3-point shooting, catch and shoot. I told Tony this before.
That's why that's why Landry was brought in.
Huge. That was a huge loss when we lost Landry Shamet. Huge loss. And I think the Knicks don't have anybody on the roster right now that has proven to shoot from volume catch and shoot threes and at a high clip. They don't have anybody like that. Now, is it possible that somebody can step up into that role? Yes, it is possible. But right now, I am not. I don't see it as of right now, and I think that's the biggest concern for me because that's a roster issue.
Dottier, I think that's a guy that they've got to utilize. The kid can shoot the ball. He can catch and shoot. Can he do it coming off screens? Crawl off of a screen and that. I'm not sure. I don't know if I've seen that, but he can catch and shoot. I think the Knicks got to utilize Dottier. I really do. I think they got to utilize that guy. Because not only can he catch and shoot, but he can slash to the basket. He can add some things to this offense. I would love to see the Knicks use Dottier. I think they will too.
Yeah, I told Tony that was my dark horse. I think that was my dark horse, Bacone Dottier. I just felt like, because of the potential for injury out there when it comes to OG Anunoby, I felt like that was a role that he can kind of fit in, someone coming off the bench playing that kind of role. But even now, with the Landry Shaman injury and Precious Achiuwa gone, the Knicks are going to utilize him. I think he can definitely play a big part of what we're going to do this season. But I still would have to see it. I think catch and shoot threes for me. I think in the first quarter, the Knicks put up 7 threes compared to Boston's 17, and they only made one. The Knicks only made one, and Boston made 10 of them. Right? The Knicks cannot compete with Boston if it's like that. Boston is just, and they hit him. Boston hits it from a pretty high clip as well. But just the amount of threes that the Celtics are getting up compared to the Knicks. I mean,
61 threes
there's
tonight.
no competition.
61. 61 threes tonight.
Mm.
And KP's not even there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I don't think that's a trend. You know what I mean? I think that's a Celtics thing more than like, I don't think we're gonna see a repeat of this, moving forward. The Celtics, that's what they do. That's how they play. You know what I mean? That's their style. We were trying to get towards that last year. It seemed like, you know what I mean? All year long, Thibodeau was talking about we need more threes. We got to put up more threes. So I think the Knicks ideally are trying to reach that. But to your point, Josh, is not a player. You know what I mean? Is not a player that shoots it at a clip. You know what I mean? High volume.
The Knicks don't have. Landry was the quick trigger guy that can just catch it and quickly get it off and get it up. The Knicks don't have DiVincenzo was the quick trigger guy, right? The Knicks don't have a quick trigger guy. Dottier, I don't think is a quick trigger guy. I think he can catch and shoot, but he's not like a quick trigger that can just like, as soon as it touches his fingers, it's in the air. We don't have that guy. And I think that guy's necessary in the NBA.
Absolutely. DiVincenzo, second in the NBA last season, the entire league in catch and shoot threes as far as attempts. Second in the entire association, right? And that made up the catch and shoot factor was the bulk of what Dante DiVincenzo did as far as his three-point attempts, right? Landry Shaman was the closest thing to that. I mean, obviously not at that same amount of volume, but that's his thing. He's a shooter. He can shoot. The Knicks, I just don't feel like they have that on the roster right now. And that's the only concern for me. Now, here's the thing. I think the Knicks can still be able to score points. I think they shot at a pretty good clip tonight.
55%.
As far as percentages.
55%.
They're gonna find other ways to get points. But when you go up against a team like Boston, I mean, you got to be able to get those 3-point shots.
I mean, the Celtics doubled up the amount of threes that the Knicks took 30. The Celtics took 61.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks made 11. The Celtics made 29. The Knicks lost by 23 points. It was at some point it was a 35-point lead though. I mean, the Celtics are going to shoot that clip though. They may not shoot 61, but they're going to shoot 40 to 50 every night.
Mm-hmm.
Normally they're not going to make 47% every night. They're going to be around 36, 37%, 38%, somewhere around there. The Knicks shot 36 points. The Knicks shot well, 36.7%. That's decent, but only 30 of them. They only took 78 shots overall. When the Celtics were 90-something shots. So.
Yeah, you can't have a 20-point shot differential and a 30-point 3-point shot differential.
Yeah.
But I think we need to be around 45. Like that needs to be the number we gotta trend towards.
And when I look at the low number of shot attempts to me, that just equals that they're thinking. Because you play a little slower when you're thinking, right? When you're trying to figure out what to do, you're thinking, when you know what you're doing, you don't have to think. So you can just pop, pop, pop. Oh, yep, this is my shot, right? Oh, this is my cut. This is my pass. You know that when you're not thinking. You don't even think about it. You just do it. It's going to take some gains for the Knicks to get to that point where they're playing without thinking. And I think when you look at the low number of shot attempts, part of it is because they're just thinking out there on the court right now, trying to figure out, where we find our spots on the floor. And it'll come. I think it'll come.
Sim and Tony, for me, I feel like what would help that, and I've seen this numerous times, and this is one of the big knocks on Karl-Anthony Towns. There was times where he was matched up, he had a mismatch. And he got himself down in the paint, but he just didn't post up, didn't call for the ball. Shaq mentioned this on the TNT broadcast. He mentioned this at halftime, like, yo, you a big guy. You got a mismatch. Like, I get it. Drew Holiday's a good defender, but you got him. You 5 feet away from the basket. You got to command the ball. Yeah. And that's the thing where people, they talk about Randall. Randall did that too much, but he did it from the perimeter. Towns doesn't do it enough, in my opinion, from the paint. And I think that could help us too. That's something that can help us. So hopefully he can develop.
I don't know if he has the personality to do it. That's right. And this is one of the things that scares me about the team too. People used to get mad at Randall because he slapped the laptop out somebody's hand or, yell at a teammate. You need that. You need the edge. And I just don't know if this team has that edge. I'm not saying we can't be good, but I think that edge sometimes gets you over the hump or doesn't allow you to get blown out, right? I mean, the Knicks could have got blown out tonight regardless who was there. They made mad threes like that. But I still think you need that guy who's going to slap the laptop or kick the chair or yell at a teammate, because of this or that. It keeps – I think Tom Thibodeau said it last year.
Order. It keeps order, Sam.
Keeps some order. It does. It keeps order, right? But Tom Thibodeau said it at some point last year. He said you always need a little bit of tension, right? Because it keeps you on edge and it keeps you on point. If you don't have that little bit of tension, right? You don't want too much tension where it's going to cause a problem, but just a little bit of tension just keeps you focused, kind of. So, hopefully the Knicks find that one guy. You don't have to be knocking over laptops and stuff, but just the one guy that's not going to be afraid to keep order, keep people in check, say, hey, I need this, I need that, or even if they're wrong, but just get mad at somebody. So we'll see if this team has that.
What about a Josh Hart? What about a Josh Hart versus Jalen Brunson type of argument or something like that on the team or something?
I was just about to say, Josh Hart is probably the only guy who has that in his character to where, like he ain't gonna hold back insane. The only problem is it has to be genuine. Or Tibbs is gonna have to get in his ear like, yo, tell Towns to go take,
right.
Take advantage of the poke. You know what I mean? Like, but Josh Hart is the only one that I could see it that's currently on this roster. Yeah. Mook, he would have been a great guy to do that.
He would have been the guy to do it, man. No, that's the kind of you need to and they don't have to play a lot. You just need somebody that'll do it. So I don't know if we have the guy that'll do it. And the Celtics were like that for a couple of years, right? They were wondering who's the guy that does. I mean, Marcus Smart was there, but they still questioned whether or not they had a little bit of edge, and if they had that kind of guy. So we'll see. The Knicks are going to be good. I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to be good. First game of the season, some kinks to work out, but I think they'll work them out. I hope nobody out there is panicking, though. Please don't start panicking already. You know what I'm saying? We just hit the floor for game 1.
Sam, I already heard Bridges is a bum. We traded 5 or 6 picks for this dude, and cat this and cat that, and Knicks. Mark Berman had a tweet. The Knicks designed their roster, and he's right. The Knicks designed their roster to compete with Boston.
Yep.
And both OG and Mikal Bridges got their ass bust by Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, so that's tough.
He's right. He's right.
The thing is, if OG and Mikal Bridges get their ass bust by Tatum and Brown. Jalen Brunson got to do his thing. Karl-Anthony Towns got to do his thing. And then you need an X factor that's going to do their thing as well. You know what I'm saying? Because when KP gets back, he's going to get 19 and 8 too. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta offset those guys. I'm not expecting OG to give you 37 against Jason Tatum. I'm not expecting Mikal Bridges. Well, Mikal Bridges can give you 23. He gave you 16 a night. You know what I'm saying? So, he can potentially offset Jaylen Brown in the scoring department. But Karl-Anthony Towns, KP is there. He can give you 19. If Karl-Anthony Towns is giving you 25 or 28, KP can give you 19. But on a night like tonight, Karl-Anthony Towns can't give you 12.
Yeah, that's...
And 9 shots? Got to have more than that. He's got to be one of your main scorers on the team. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna hear that. He's gonna hear it from the fans. He's gonna hear it in the locker room too. Like, yo, we need more. We need more than that. Don't play tentative. Just go out there and ball. Don't play tentative. Tonight, though, Jason Tatum had 37, 10 assists, 4 rebounds. Jaylen Brown had 23.7 rebounds. Derek White had 24 points, 4 assists. Drew Holiday, 18 points. Al Horford had 11 and 5. Al Horford had the same amount of points as Karl-Anthony Towns. You're not going to win like that. Not going to win. Sam Hauser had 10. 61 three-point attempts for the Celtics. 40 rebounds, 11 offensive, 29 defensive rebounds. They played like a team that just won the championship, basically, and was having a ring ceremony at home and knew that they couldn't lose. And the Knicks played like a team that were trying to figure it out. So, the next game is Washington. Is that the next game? What's the next game?
Pacers.
Pacers on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Home opener, I think, right?
Home opener, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping.
We'll be all right. We'll be okay, Sam. I just think this happens. Like, I know you're gonna harp on the defense too. That's where your mind is at. You prioritize the defensive end. But the way those guys are shooting tonight, there's nothing they can do. Now there was some times where guys are left wide open, right? There would be some penetration or kind of some sort of broken play or something like that. A guy get left open in the corner and they hit those shots. But Mikal Bridges was on Jason Tatum. He just kept making shots. He was just hot. He was unstoppable tonight. Same with Brown. And when a team is shooting like that, there's really nothing you can do. Really, it's really, really nothing you can do except foul him real hard, something like that.
Something.
Right. But I think defensively we'll be fine. I have no concerns about us defensively because it always happens like this. Last season it happened the same exact way. Me and Sam argued about it. Yeah, defense. I'm like, yeah, and they wind up getting it together. Made some moves, things like that.
They better get it together.
They will.
They better get it together. We talking about wing stop and all of that. They better get it together. Shoot. They better get it together.
Boston just has a complete roster. They have a complete roster. They're together. I just think it's kind of one of those things, kind of like a sum of all parts type of thing. But the Knicks will be fine. I'm not concerned.
Yeah. It went from wing stop to wing flop.
Tonight, without a doubt. Tonight. Man, 132-109, the Knicks lose to the Boston Celtics. Boston out-rebounded the Knicks 40-34. They out-assisted the Knicks 33-20. They had more steals, 6 steals for the Celtics, 2 for the Knicks. They tied in blocks. The Celtics had 3 turnovers the entire game. 3 turnovers. The Knicks had 11. The Knicks shot better from the field. They shot 55%. The Celtics shot 50%. The Knicks shot 36.7% from the three-point line. The Celtics 47.5%. The Celtics shot better from the free throw line, 87.5%, 75% for the Knicks. I mean, this Celtics dominated the game in just about every category. Yeah, just about every category.
Question
Yeah.
though. Again, the Chairman injuries, we can't do anything about that now. But I guess I form it as a statement. I felt like, because Josh Hart, there was an article that came out in regards to him not feeling comfortable in the starting lineup. And I personally didn't think he was a good fit there anyway, next to Brunson. For me, I thought we needed more shooting there. I could have seen a scenario to where the Knicks kind of start off slow and then Tibbs kind of changes the lineup, put Shaman in there next to Brunson, have Josh Hart coming off the bench. To me, I think that would have made the most sense. Obviously, we can't do anything about it right now. But, I mean, do y'all think that there's anybody we can kind of put in that starting lineup? Because I don't think Josh Hart belongs in the starting lineup. Not because of his lack of play, but the fit. I just don't like the fit there next to Brunson.
I tell you what. If after 20 games, Tibbs is not liking Josh Hart next to Brunson, maybe, I would say either Precious or Deuce if he likes the way it is small, because now you got Deuce who can give you a lot of ball pressure on the ball handler. He's shooting the ball well. He's another guy that can handle the ball a little bit. I wouldn't say that's not out of the question. I mean, Deuce had 22 tonight. Now, does that restrict Deuce from being that scorer, that guy that takes control on the bench? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, he doesn't do that anyways, and that's Campaign's job. Campaign is the backup point guard.
No. From being a scorer.
He's our primary scorer off the
on
bench.
the bench. He's the scorer off the bench right now. You know what I'm saying? So does that restrict Deuce from scoring?
Oh, you mean, does it restrict him in the starting lineup?
If he's in the starting lineup, does it take away from his production?
Like that?
Right, because when he's on the bench, he's going to get it's going to be his world out there. Well, I don't want to say his world, because he's playing like tonight. He played with Bridges and OG, so. But
I don't think that's the case though, because he's played well alongside Brunson.
Yeah,
like all that was one of the best lineups all last year when he started alongside Brunson or played alongside Brunson. Like the plus minuses and the numbers were always great. So I don't think that would be an issue.
Okay.
I would be more concerned with bench production taking him out the bench,
taking the hit.
You know what I mean? Because one of the things I would worry about, and maybe I'm off and I'm wrong in this, but like Campaign maybe trying to become the scorer now, when I think I like him just running that offense. He's gonna score whenever he gets the opportunity anyway. He's not passive, but I don't want him to be extra aggressive, trying to be the bench production. And then it kind of gets out of hand, unless he's capable of that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Can Cam up his point production without sacrificing what we need him to kind of just run the offense in that second unit?
I don't know. I mean, Josh Hart will give you some production too, right? Because the onus is going to fall on him a little bit more to. Have to score the ball. Obviously, he's going to do a lot of his stuff is going to be dirty work, but pushing the pace in the fast break, he'll have a little bit more freedom to do that in the second unit. And I'm still not going to rule out Dadier being a guy that can help you get some points off that bench. I think he can give you 10 to 12 points a game. I really do.
Another option too is playing Kolek alongside Cam. And then he may not be a scorer, but he'll be a good enough facilitator to kind of help the scoring production around him. You know what I mean? Finding Dadier, finding Josh Hart, finding Sims or whoever the big is. Porter, he played today?
He did in the fourth quarter. He played. Didn't do too bad. I think he had a big block or something like that at the end, like a huge block. But they were going against the other bench players. Sim, I think the first thing you said is better. Maybe Precious whenever we get him back, because there's a lot of people talking about what Cat is not doing. And personally, I don't think we need Cat to be this ultra defensive big man 5, because I think that we're going to be good enough around him to support him. But maybe putting Precious at the 5, putting Cat back at the 4, just move everybody down, and then we won't have to worry about the guard spots and the production off the bench.
Right. I mean, I'm
he'll give you more
for
athleticism than Mitch would give you. He'll give you more than that.
Yeah,
and it won't be like a total loss.
I mean, I'm for it. I'm for it. I thought that would have been from the beginning. I thought that would have been a good idea, because now you got 2 shot blockers out there on the floor. If you're worried about protecting the paint. So I mean, I don't see that as being a bad idea at all. At all. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that as being a bad idea.
And then they can alternate who plays the 4, who plays the 5 based on the matchup. Like maybe a Milwaukee matchup would be different than a Boston matchup or something like that. I think that's an idea that Tibbs is definitely going to look at. And I think if I had to predict, if knock on wood, that this doesn't go as bad as we saw tonight for the next 20 games or so, I could envision Tibbs leaning more towards that because of who he is in the defensive, paint protection, all that stuff. I can see him doing that more than the other one.
Yeah.
But either way.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me get to a phone call, man.
I don't want to rush him back either, though.
Oh, yeah.
That hamstring could be reoccurring.
Yeah. Right. You don't want to do that. I got JJ from Brooklyn on the line. JJ, what's popping, bro?
Yo, what's good, Tim? How you doing, man? What's going on, fellas?
I'm chilling, man. I'm doing good.
Good, man?
I'm doing good. Just trying to stay level-headed. Trying to stay level-headed on, after tonight.
Right. I'm trying too, man. I'm trying. But my butt is, I got to talk Bridges real quick. We know we got cooked tonight, but it's not just tonight. I've kind of been warning Knicks fans. His defense, last few years, we have all the nicknames for our wings, but his defense hasn't been great for the last 3 years. It wasn't good last year. It wasn't too good the year before that. So my concern is, I'm not going to say extremely high, but I'm watching, and I'm watching him really closely, especially if that 3 ball is going to still look funky, and it looks like his form is different on every shot. Something's going on. So Bridges is definitely the guy I'm watching the most right now, the closest, because, we gave up a lot for him. So, he's going to have to be better than he's been late in the last 2 or 3 years defensively, especially, again, if the 3 ball is going to be sporadic. I'm a little concerned. I got to be real. I know I don't want to go crazy just from one game, but it's not totally just because of tonight. It's kind of what I've been noticing with him over the last 2 or 3 years. So he's very slim. He's very slim. So I feel like when he guards strong players, he kind of gets cooked. So that's why I kind of prefer him guarding point guards, to be honest, more so than like a Tatum or a Jaylen Brown. I feel like those guys are going to have their way with him most of the time, in my opinion. So I'm just watching him closely, and I'm not going to say my concern is a 10 from 1 to 10, but it's around a 5 or a 6. So it's
that's pretty high for the first game of the season.
Yeah.
But again, it's not just this. It's not just the one game. Defensively, it's the last 3 years, is what I'm kind of saying. His defense hasn't been what we make it out to be.
Okay.
It's kind of my thing.
Okay.
It wasn't good last year. I watched, enough net games where it wasn't good.
Okay. Well, I mean, the Knicks obviously didn't play much perimeter defense tonight. Well, I'm not going to say that. Celtics were hot, so.
Yeah, some of them were just good makes. I agree.
I mean, they were knocking down all kind of threes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a bit crazy.
We'll see. I think they're gonna get it in gear. They got to get it in gear defensively for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Boston. I felt like they kind of wanted to send a statement. Like, we see the moves you guys made. We see everybody saying, the Knicks are probably their main threat. I think they're just like, all right, let's kind of send a statement right now to this team They
Yeah.
definitely sent a pretty loud one, at least for one game,
Yeah, I mean,
But,
the thing is, they're not going to shoot 47% from the 3-point line every night.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, right. Of
so
course, yeah, agree.
let's see,
Yeah.
let's see a game when they're shooting normal numbers. See what it looks like then.
Right. Yeah. What do you think about OG? I felt like this was a game where he has too many of these games. I feel like where he's just not aggressive. He's making a lot of money now. These kind of nights versus a championship team. Again, I know it's just one game, but like he shows it to you. Like every once in a while. Like obviously we all remember the playoff game where he was dominating, where
Right.
his hamstring got messed up. But like I just feel like he has it. Not like totally, but like it's in there somewhere. I just feel like, I just want to see him be a little more aggressive, like instead of like once in a blue, like I just, he just looked a little lost out there, a little lost.
I mean,
You know,
we seen it all from OG last year. You know what I'm saying? Especially on a night like tonight when he's got to guard Jason Tatum, his
Right.
energy is going to be focused on the defensive side for the most part.
fair. Right.
That's where the energy is going to be focused.
Right. Right.
I don't think OG
Yeah.
is ever going to be
Right.
a
I
20-point
hear
scorer
you.
for
I
this
hear
team.
that. Right.
He's not going to
Yeah.
be that. He's going to be a great defensive player that can put pressure on the ball. The
Right.
problem with this team, here's one of the issues you have with this team, with the Celtics, with the
Mhm.
Knicks playing the Celtics. You have to put OG and Mikal. Well, you don't have to, but that's going to
Your
be
best bet.
that's going to be the assignments, right? Mikal and OG on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And what that does, though, is it takes one of those Bridges or OG away from being someone who can put that pressure on the ball. Like you've seen, if you watch the preseason, how many times did OG put pressure on the ball and get a steal? Right? That takes
Right.
him away from doing that. So now you got Jalen Brunson guarding Drew Holiday, is not putting that same kind of pressure on the ball. Now, here's the thing that the Celtics can do, and we've seen it tonight. They can take Jaylen Brown and put him on Jalen Brunson, cause him to get an 8-second call because you're not worried about OG scoring the ball that much. So you can put Drew Holiday on OG or something like that, right? Because he's not going to be that kind of a scorer, So that's a little bit of something different that they can do that we can't do, and getting those little steals that OG gets when he pressures the ball. Sometimes that changes a game. But when we're playing the Celtics, he has to be on Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, and Mikal Bridges has to be there too. Unless you just say, you know what? They're going to score 37 anyway. Put somebody else on. Put Josh Hart on him. Let OG pressure Drew Holiday or something like that. I don't know. I guess we'll see. This is the first game of the season. We'll see what things look like as, they play a couple more games. They're going to play 3 more times throughout the season. And, the Knicks will figure out the best game plan against the Celtics.
Right. That's what I think makes Boston so tough. Defensive, like all of them are plus defenders. I mean, White, Holiday, Tatum, Brown, like that's I gotta give credit where it's due. I mean, that's tough when you're going against basically all plus defenders,
Right.
And then when KP's there, he gives you the rim protection. So it's a tough. That's it's a great team. So, but like you said, hopefully we figure something out, next time or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
JJ,
I know it's overreaction day. After one, I don't want to. I don't want to go crazy. I just want to point that out about Bridges. That I just feel like his defense hasn't been as great last few years as we kind of make it out to be.
If we would have won the
game,
I
hope he picks it up.
If we would have won the game, everybody would have went crazy too.
Exactly. Yeah, I get it.
We would have been demanding that they print up the banner.
Right.
Don't raise it yet. Just print it up. Have it in holding. Put it in the closet somewhere because it's coming.
Facts. You're right.
We would have went crazy anyway.
Right.
Either way, we would have went crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
all right, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
All right, appreciate
Thanks
it.
a lot.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Yeah, I don't agree, Sam. I don't agree with about the Mikal Bridges thing that he said about the last couple of years. Well, one, he's playing on a bad team, right? So defensively they were just poor. Period. Right. So Mikal Bridges had the number one assignment, whatever, what have you. So I don't think it's the same thing. I think this team is going to be better defensively, and like you said, I think it makes a big difference. Who we go up against? Boston is they have great players all over the floor, right? So it's kind of different. And as far as Mikal Bridges offensively, what he applied to with OG, I think that could be Mikal. I think Mikal has a higher ceiling offensively and can do more offensively than OG Anunoby. But Mikal needs to step up too. I think if Mikal steps up into that next type of role, I think what we talked about as far as the 3-point shooting, we can kind of get away with it because we got a guy who can score from different places on the court. And he did that in the second half. So hopefully he can build some momentum with that.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me get to another phone call here. Caller, you're live. Name and where you're from, please.
Yo, my aunt. Get to another phone call.
I need you to turn that down in the back, bro.
I am Simon. Yo,
I need you to turn down the sound in the back before we can talk.
Yo, sorry.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, Simon from Brooklyn.
What's going on, Simon? How you feeling, man?
Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight, don't we? I mean, there's so much, I don't know where to start. I mean, for me, one of the first things is I feel like tonight made me realize that a lot of people in the Knicks fan base is like, it's very painful for them to admit that there's any flaws with the team, with the players, with the coaching staff. Like, there's just some things that's like very, like the first point that I want to make, not one person on the Celtics played more than 30 minutes tonight. Not one. So like this whole logic of like, we should just play the 5 people we trust, the 5 best players, like as long as it takes for them to, no, there needs to be some kind of limit, there needs to be some kind of cycles. I also want to clarify that, like, while I do think there are things to worry about tonight, and there are things that like you need to learn from, like our goal is to beat the Celtics. The team is constructed to beat the Celtics. They didn't even have Porzingis tonight, which is something that no one is even talking about. Even reliable players like OG, who I personally think, like, I'm not worried in the long term about OG and Cat, but Bridges, there's definitely some issues there. Jalen got to pass more. Josh Hart don't belong in the starting lineup. That's like already, I feel like something we should be on board with. I think that should be Precious in there, but now he's injured, and now we're in the line. And like, we don't have any, like, there should have been a plan from the start to play these rookies, because I feel like there's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, oh, the rookies can't play, and then look at how Pacome Dadier, for example, was put into the game tonight. In the worst possible situation, in the heat of the moment, like if your decision was to play Pacome Dadier against Celtics, you should prepare him from the beginning and maybe even have him start, which you could sound crazy, but is it crazier to have him start or crazy to be like, okay, we're down 30 against the Celtics. Go get us fucking 30 right now. Like, which is worse? Which is worse between those two situations? You know what I'm saying? Where he has no preparation, and then that happens, and obviously Pacome Dadier, 19-year-old with no preparation, single-handedly doesn't get us 30 points and get us the lead over Celtics in that situation. So you say, oh, look, we can't play rookies. We can't play rookies because look how bad he did, right? And then the last 5 minutes, oh, well, they only play garbage time. Like, if you're going to play them, it should be done in a way where it's structured, it's planned, they know what they're doing, they have an idea what they're getting in there. It's like, you stick to the main plan of how to play the game as long as possible, and then, like, it doesn't work, like, last 5 minutes, okay, get them other dudes out there. Like, get the bunts out there. You know, like, we only have so many bodies and so many different skill sets on our team, and, like, I don't know. There's a lot to talk about, but, like, our goal, this one thing that I hate from tonight also is, like, people are saying, like, oh, they just had, like, a historic shooting performance. So what kind of lesson is that for us to learn? Like, that they're so good at shooting, they're so much better at us sometimes, that there's just literally nothing we can do? There's nothing at all we can do, and they're just that good? No, of course, that's a loser attitude. The Knicks definitely, like, I don't know. We, like, I'll say also another thing, like, we definitely missed Precious Achiuwa tonight. Like, I feel like he's an underrated player on the Knicks, and I could bet, like, at least a couple of them threes, he probably would have blocked. A couple, you know? More than, I mean, who blocked the three tonight? Nobody. I don't even know how they got so many off. Seriously, like, does one three even block? Like, for real?
I mean, well, I think Dadier.
I'm hyped.
Let me just say this, about what you said. I think Dadier should play. Hopefully, he will. I mean, Tibbs is, the type of guy that guys got to earn their stripes. I think he is. He's beginning to earn them. So I got a feeling that guy is gonna play. So I agree with you. Dadier should play. I got a feeling he will play though. Especially right now with Precious out. But I think he'll get some minutes here and there. He may, and it may just be like 8-9 minutes a game right now. But you got to build up. Some rookies can come in. They're just so talented. They can dominate the game and all of that stuff. Most players come in. You got to build up the endurance of playing in the league. I'm not panicking, man. Don't panic. I think we're gonna be good.
I'm not panicking, but for me, I feel like the takeaway is like something went wrong tonight. We can all agree on that. This is not the Knicks that we want. No, right? Everyone can agree on
47.5%
so like,
from
we
the
have to learn to take on a
line.
lesson from this and not just be like, okay, they just shot really well and whatever, like GGs. Like,
they shot can be a lesson.
Like the rotation was whack. It needs to be a wider rotation. Josh Hart he doesn't want to be starting lineup himself, bro. Sorry, my man just said something I didn't hear.
I mean,
like people said that it's like a joke. Like Josh Hart said that, and they were like, "Oh, he's joking. Don't take him seriously." Like, does he look like he's fitting into the offense and defense out there as a starter, bro? Like, no, it's not a joke. Like he's just being real, and like people is like, "Oh, well, like it's like if they see a teacher, I think he's a teacher doing something bad." And, like,
I think we should keep this in mind, though. I think we should keep this in mind, and people might say, "Oh, you're making excuses." I'm not. We got to keep this in mind.
Celtics would not have done that to any team tonight. I don't like what that said.
Yeah,
I think they would have. They shot 47.5%. But we got to keep this. We got to keep this in mind. You have basically a team in the Knicks who are very, very new and trying to fit their pieces together against the world champion Boston Celtics, who are like a well-oiled machine, ready to go.
Return 13 players, Sam. Return 13 players.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? We gotta keep that in mind. Like and that's where there's a really big gap between these two teams. One team is figuring it out. One team knows exactly what they're doing. And that makes a big, big difference when you're out there on the court. The Knicks had 78 field goal attempts. Part of that is because they're trying to figure out what to do. And when you try to figure out what to do, you play slow, you play tentative. You're thinking instead of playing, instead of reacting. So it's gonna take a little while for the Knicks to get to that point. But you got basically a brand new team. How many returning players we got on this team in the rotation?
Not many, which is fair. Like that is a fair point.
Right? I mean, OG played half a season last year. You got Brunson. You got Josh Hart.
Five.
Right? You got Deuce. Precious played half the season. 5 returning players, like right now in the starting lineup, in the rotation. And they're not all playing together at the same time. So, there's some things that are going to be disjointed where you got the Celtics who just got, they're ready to go. You know what I mean?
May I interject? I'm sorry, I just remembered something that I wanted to bring up.
No, go ahead.
Jason Tatum, his rookie year, 2018, he played in the playoffs for the Celtics. Like, I don't know if that would ever happen on Tom Thibodeau's team, but he actually put up good numbers. And like, there are times when that happens, and there are times when it's a good idea.
He was also drafted like 3rd.
That's what I was about to say.
It's not like it was ever like a shock to anybody. He was a good player. I'm just saying that like a rookie can come in and contribute. And Jalen Brunson, if you're just going by the value of someone in the draft, he's the like poster child of like, oh well, he's a low, he's in the second round. So how good can he be? He's pretty good, bro. For a second rounder.
No, he is. We get that. And, I mean, look at Deuce. Deuces, you know, he was a second rounder. It took him some, time, but now he's one of the main pieces of this basketball team at 22 tonight.
I will say a bright spot is that, like, even in tough games where we're getting killed, Deuce comes out and hits his shot. Even against the Pacers, even against the Celtics, like, it doesn't seem like he's phased. And actually, I was surprised that, like, Cam Payne didn't hit his shot tonight. Like, I was saying to myself, like, that dude is so confident and so just, like, even cocky that, like, he's just always going to be the same. And I was like, I mean, nobody was really in their mode tonight. But Deuce actually had a good game of anyone on the Knicks.
Yeah.
You know, probably the best.
Yeah, 8 for 10 from the field. But, hey, my man, I appreciate your time. What's your name again? Simon. I appreciate it, Simon. Have a good one.
One last thing. It was a reality check. It was humbling. It needed to happen. Let's learn from it and get better.
There you
I still believe we're going to be a big thing in the season.
That's it. I appreciate it. No doubt. Peace. Sholo, man, thank you for the super chat. He said, Mikal didn't do enough to make it hard on JT, in my opinion. Tony, I think we said it the other day. It's starting to sound like Mikal is going to be the scapegoat on this team.
Yep.
There's always one, and right now it's sounding like it's going to be Bridges.
I would think more Cat. If I had to pick one, I would say more Cat than Mikal.
But we've been hearing it about Mikal already. You know, the shot, JJ just called up and said the defense. We've been hearing it about Mikal already.
They coming up with flagrant nicknames for him. You know what I mean? Calling him Mikal Brickage, Markel Bridges, Mikal folks. I mean, they going crazy out there.
Oh no.
Yeah. Paris Douglas said, thank you for the super chat. He said, man, to panic when a team shoots 70% from three, they shot 47%. With early season shooting legs as champions is cap. We're recently assembled and we'll need 12 games to gel. Yeah. We will need, I don't know if it has to be 12, but we need some games to gel. But there should be no panic. No panic out there.
The opponents don't get tougher from here.
True. They don't get tougher, right? They don't get tougher from here. Still, Knicks fans, man, Ron in the building said there's too much overreacting in the chat. I'm going to say this all year. We don't know what this Knicks are until we've seen them at their best. Let's give it some time. Yeah, we got to give them some time to gel, come together, and then we'll figure out what this team is.
And we don't know when we're gonna see them at their best, considering we got roster spots to fill. You know what I mean? We got Precious coming back from an injury. We got Mitch coming back next year from an injury. Like we're not gonna even see this team, the final product of this team, until next year. You know what I mean? Like even if we end up moving on from Mitch, I don't think that happens until he's back on the floor. So, you know what I mean? We're not even gonna know what this team, the final product is, until like trade deadline, All-Star break.
Yeah. Right. Paris, thank you again for the super chat. He said their bench missed the last 13 threes. They did. Yeah. They missed a bunch of them.
They would get jacking them up at that point, though, trying to break that record. But,
yeah. Too early to be panicky, man. We just played the world champions. We just played the best team. Last year, they were the best team in basketball. That's who we just played. So, we just got to calm down, not panic. Not panic, and let them marinate a little bit before we hit the panic button. We got to let them marinate. Let them come together. Let them marinate. Let them figure some things out. You know, they'll go on a run this year that will have everybody going crazy. 10 games in a row, something like that. They'll go on a run, and they're gonna have their chance to beat the Celtics.
For me, it's a little bit bittersweet though, Sam. I'll say like that because there's some Knicks fans who act like there's no other team in the Eastern Conference. It's just us. We can beat everybody and anybody. We don't have to do anything. We're gonna go automatically to the Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals, and I just don't think it's like that. Forget about Philly, forget about all these other teams, Indiana, right? Boston, we can beat them as long as we have a healthy team. We can beat them. No, the Knicks have not proven anything yet. They've proven that they can get to the playoffs and be a competitive team, but they have not proven anything yet.
Right.
So those fans out there who think that it's just going to be a walk in the park, no, it's a process. You have to go through it, right? That's Sim and Tony's tell me all the time. It's a process. Let it kind of play itself out. But I am happy about the fact that Knicks fans are talking about playoffs, right? Because too often I feel like people do get caught up on the regular season. But as Tom Thibodeau has shown us, the Knicks are going to be fine in the regular season. They'll be all right. That's what he uses that time for. And he wins games during the regular season, right? So we'll be all right. We're
gonna be all right, man. We're gonna be all right. It's too early to start going crazy. I know it's a blowout, and it looked really bad because it's a blowout. But there are a lot of factors involved, a lot of factors involved. And I'm not making excuses, but there's a lot of factors involved. The Celtics already had some energy coming into the building, given it his ring night. You got legends in the building and all that kind of stuff. The Knicks are basically a new team. The Celtics are a team that's got 13 returning players. Stephen A. Smith asked Jaylen Brown, are you afraid of the Knicks? That puts something into it right there. Like, oh, this is the team that people think can beat us.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, he asked him, right?
He did ask him. I don't think that had anything to do with it, though.
No, I'm not saying that specific question had anything to do with it. But when you hear everyone saying...
They've been hearing it. They've been hearing it.
They've been hearing it.
He's not the first Celtic that has been asked about the Knicks.
Right.
They asked, They asked Al Horford after the draw, what do you think of the Knicks getting Karl-Anthony Towns? You know what I mean? It's definitely they had this day circled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? More than just for the rings.
No, they
showed everybody what they think about us.
Yeah, and they're hearing it throughout the offseason after the trade. Oh, this is maybe they put this team together to beat the Celtics. Right? They put this team together to beat the Celtics. They carbon copy what the Celtics did so that they can beat the Celtics. What did they hear? Obviously the Celtics won the championship, but what were some people saying last year? Well, if the Knicks were fully healthy, their toughness may have been able to wear the Celtics down. So you can't say at least a little bit. They were like, all right, we're going to let people know that, yeah, they're better or they're good. They're a team to watch out for, but
there's levels. There's levels.
Exactly. Exactly. You're not here yet. Get through a season first.
They probably like, yo, you gotta go through the gauntlet. You know what I mean? You gotta go through the ups and downs. We've been through the We've been through the ups and downs already.
We've been through it.
Y'all had a couple of playoff series, and y'all think y'all ready? You know what I mean?
Right. We've been through it. Everybody thought we questioning us whether we can win a championship. We not strong enough. We not tough enough. This and that. We've been through all of that. So, y'all not just gonna come in here and get Karl-Anthony Towns and now y'all beating us. So yeah, I'm pretty sure somewhere in there, you have that kind of energy, thought process. Where the Knicks is kind of like, well, all right, let's see what we can. Let's see how we stack up against these guys. The players. Let's see how we stack up. Because they're not. I'm sure they don't have that motivation. Yeah, where the Celtics might have a little bit of, we're gonna let y'all know they're not ready yet. We're still the cream of the crop. You know, it's all right. You know, it's gonna be more games. You know, it's gonna be more games.
81 of them. 81 more games.
Right. You know, and it's gonna be more games and more games against the Celtics that don't have all this stuff around it. And the Knicks will be playing better. They'll be playing more comfortable. They understand what they're trying to do. You know, that third game, let's say, against the Celtics, I don't know when it is. I'm sure it's later on in the season. That'll probably be one of your best times to figure out what we look like against the Boston Celtics, as long as everybody's healthy. You know.
Should be February 23rd.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. That's a good
At
time.
Boston.
At Boston. That's a good time to kind of see what this team is like against the Celtics. You know, the last game, depending on when.
And it's national TV. It's on ABC.
ABC. When's the last time they played the Celtics?
The fourth time, the final time?
Yeah.
It's going to be April 8th.
Right.
That's on TNT.
And see that
So
game.
next game is February 8th, ABC, February 23rd, ABC, and then April 8th, TNT.
Yeah, see that last game may not mean anything. So who knows what it'll be like. But those two February games right there will tell you a lot about how the Knicks stack up against the Celtics.
No, I think we play them 7 times in May.
Huh?
What?
Right.
Oh,
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I see what he's saying.
I hope so. So, you know, but like Josh is saying, there's still, you know, you still got Philadelphia, Milwaukee, you know, those teams are still out there. And right now they're looking too. You know, when we play them, they're looking too and say, oh, so you guys just leapfrog the Knicks over top of us. Now, obviously the Knicks were second seed last year, but still, they're like,
Right.
oh, you guys just, we don't exist no more. You know, it's always going to be like that.
And I think Milwaukee's a tougher matchup, to be honest with you, because of that, what they can do with Brook Lopez and Giannis.
Yeah.
The Knicks, typically over the years, when they guard Giannis, they put Mitch on him, right? And they have Julius guarding.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how the lineup changes or whatever when it's time for us to play Milwaukee. But I think that's going to be a tougher matchup. Compared to Boston, obviously Boston shot well. We know who they are already. But for that specific purpose, I think it'll be a little bit tougher for us. So.
Yeah. So, well, here we go, man. Season begins, baby. Season begins. Any other thoughts, or cause I'm about to get out of here. Go back and look at the first quarter. Go back and look at the first quarter, you know, when it was a little bit more competitive. Any other thoughts though?
I gotta go back and rewatch the whole game. Like I only saw the first quarter. Pardon me. And you saying that was the competitive part? It didn't look too. I mean, early on it was all right, but by the end of that first, I was like, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we was down 20. They already hit 10 threes.
Well, you know,
and like you said, we shot the ball well by the end of the game, but in that first quarter, we were shooting the ball well. It just the volume of threes and the makes it was killing us.
Yeah. I know. Well, if it makes anybody feel better, Julius Randle got 6 points. He's only taking 5 shots, 40% from the field, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. So, and Minnesota's losing.
That shouldn't make nobody feel better. If that makes somebody feel better, you just a hater.
Well, you know, some people are looking at, you know, they want to, you know, if Randall had 20 points right now, you know, people, oh my God, see, you know.
Well, I guess the real perspective in that is you gotta get to know your new teammates and gel and figure things out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. No
but
doubt
I feel you. Yeah, because DiVincenzo wasn't shooting well. I don't know where his shooting numbers are now, but he wasn't having a good first half either.
Right. I will say this, and I'm not gonna lie with how I feel about it. If Randall and DiVincenzo were playing with this team, the game would have been, I think, different because the chemistry is different, right? That chemistry would have been different. The Knicks would have been a little bit deeper, and the chemistry would have been different. But it doesn't mean that the Knicks would have been better in the long haul either. We don't know what that team would have looked like. We don't know how good that team would have. That team could have been still good. Well, it would have been really good, but we don't.
I think that's the main disheartening thing. You know what I mean? We didn't get to see. It wasn't like, oh, we saw it didn't work out, or we saw it was clunky. Right. All right, now do the trade. We understand, but y'all didn't even.
We didn't even get
to see it.
We didn't get to see it. Didn't get to see it.
Well, it was about more than that. They didn't want to give Julius Randle the contract. I think that's
part of it.
I've been saying that for years. They didn't want to give him the contract. They didn't want to invest that money over the long haul because then they'll be stuck. You know what I mean? Right now, they're in a great financial position.
Yeah, I
think that's really what they're doing that for the ring, for winning, and for the cap thing as well. And I think this is the best of both worlds, in their opinion. I would assume.
Right. I mean, they could have. They could have played and seen what it looked like. They could have played the season, seen what it looked like, and still been able to do something later. But here it is. I mean, we didn't get to see that. But the Knicks are set up to be very good now and in the future, right? All of the players are, young vets. You got some very good young rookies on the team. Financially, you're in a good position. So the Knicks are set up to be good now and for some years. So,
and Sam, to add on to that, they have the infrastructure. They have the culture in the building. The culture. They got winning people in the building. That to me is out of everything. That to me is the most important thing. In my lifetime, I've never seen that.
Right.
Them have that type of culture in the building.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna head up out of here. All right. We'll jump on tomorrow night. Talk some more. We got a couple days, and the Knicks will be practicing and trying to work out the kinks because they don't play again until Friday. So we got a lot to talk about between now and then. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm up out of here. I appreciate your time, and I'm out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.